Good morning. Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about how I got involved in the teaching. And I got involved in this teaching some 25, 30 years ago. I was raised in a traditional Christian home where I was taught that there is a power for good, but I also was taught that there is a power for evil. And I was taught that I was not good enough. And I was taught, as I recited the catechism, that the things I did were my fault. My own things were done in the catechism through my fault, through my most grievous fault, if I remember the language correctly. I now understand that all to be nonsense, but that's the backdrop in my consciousness, a sense of guilt and shame. From the time I was a young kid, fortunately, through a series of circumstances, I found myself in a Unity church in Miami where someone handed me a tape which was entitled, "You Can Heal Your Life." And within a week of being given that tape, there was a marquee that said the same thing, "You can heal your life." And little did I know that that was the beginning of an odyssey of self-discovery. The book, "You Can Heal Your Life" by Louise Hay was being read everywhere during the late 80s, early 90s. And it really was the only game in town for healing. I began to teach from the book, "You Can Heal Your Life," to support groups in Miami, at Unity and in treatment centers everywhere. And I didn't know at the time that Louise Hay was a religious science minister or former minister, and she was advancing some very simple ideas. In fact, one of her sayings is, "It's all very simple." And in fact, it is. It's simple in that your life is always going to reflect your understanding. Nothing more than that, nothing less. Your life is a reflection of consciousness, your consciousness. Much as I'm being taped here and being projected on the screen next to me, my tapes and my beliefs are being played out endlessly in my life, as they are in each of ours. From Unity, where I was introduced to Louise Hay and I facilitated the groups, I eventually made my way to a Science of Mind Center, now called a Center for Spiritual Living. That was a great day for me because when I entered the classes for Centers for Spiritual Living, I shed all of the need for the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which were so helpful to me as I was a child, and more helpful to me through Unity, where they re-explained them to me. At Unity, I learned that Jesus was not the Savior. Rather, Jesus existed as the example, the divine example of what we all can be. When he said, "It's not me that doeth the work, rather it's the Father within, the Spirit within that do all things," that was a fantastic discovery for me, because there I learned the potential that Christ talked about exists in me as me, and it operates through me all the time. That very same potential operates in each of you. God is in you, operating through you, expressing itself perfectly as you. You are one with this. You always have been. That's the best kept secret of the age. God in you, the hope of your glory. The challenge here is to awaken to how great thou art. The challenge here is to shed the stories of our youth, the stories that we're not okay, we're not good enough, that we need to do something to be better. I'm here to remind you, as we do every week, that you could do nothing to become more valuable than you already are. Your worth is established in the mind of God. You are of God, you are one with it, and there is nothing you could do to make yourself more valuable. The only thing that you could do, and that you might want to consider, is to realize, to wake up to how great thou art. One of the stories from the New Testament that I'm fond of, which I think is the perfect parable, is the story of the prodigal child. Many of you remember it. The prodigal child is the king's son, or if you're a female, the king's daughter. You're established in the kingdom as one with you are the heir to everything that's good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's true of you today. You are heir to everything that's good. Your wish is the command of the universe. Many of you watched The Secret. What did that magnificent character in the film say endlessly? Your wish is my command. Life is responding to you always and accepting you at your own estimation. As you believe, it's in your life. So here it is. The prodigal story is you're established as the daughter, the son of the king, and you have everything. But in that story, the child leaves the father's home and goes off into the country, and he loses his way for a long, long, long time. And in the story, eventually, he's in a far land and he doesn't have food, he doesn't have anything, and he comes to and he wakes up and he realizes in his father's house that the servants are treated better and he has everything, and he comes to, he wakes up, he comes out of a coma, and he essentially says, you know, I want to go home. And in the story, the father comes to meet him. As soon as he has the realization, the father comes to meet him. I'm here to remind you that it's the same with us today. We live in stories, lots of stories about other people, other things, good and evil. We have so many stories. The truth is that we are one with everyone. We're one with life. And as soon as we are able to let go of our stories, one and all, and know that we are one with life, supplied and supported, then we are restored, much like the prodigal son. You are one with everything that's good. All supply is yours. The universe does nothing but say yes to you. So we invite you to come to our services, our classes, where you will continually be reminded of how great thou art. As you come to know the truth of your being, you will open up avenues in mind. Your relationships will get better. You will open up opportunities in your finances. Every good that you want will be open to you as you realize you have the power to create and to bring in this great good. So we welcome you here today. We welcome you to our classes. The classes will change your life. You can heal your life. And so it is.